Behold!
Obviously, focus has been not touched since it initially went out, besides maybe a few little things. Now that the cat's out of the bag, it's time for a sledgehammer.
And with that, Plains of Eidolon is nearly upon us, stated to be coming within a month. Using gameplay footage and some screenshots, let's talk about how you can prepare and what you should expect. First, I'm going to tell you everything I can about the things we can prepare for. Starting with the only thing that might feel familiar, the focus system. The aforementioned sledgehammer has come down and focus is being overhauled. As you can see, there are three main points here: full refund, since basically everything is changing, a distinct focus on actually fighting as your operator, and warrior mode for your operator, accessible to those who've completed the war within. Everything about the current focus system hinges on your focus power, but we've now heard confirmation that this won't be the case after the sledgehammer. A small portion of available upgrades will affect your power, and the rest will upgrade aspects of actually playing as your operator. This could include damage and survivability, but I also noted that Rebecca procced some kind of focus-looking buff when returning to her Warframe from operator mode. This makes sense. We've been told that we'll be fighting the Eidolons using our Warframes and our operator together, so it looks like you may get bonuses for your Warframe by using your operator, and vice versa. One other notable confirmation is that Narumon's Shadow Step specifically is being completely removed. I dare to guess that Xenuric Energy Overflow might be gone too. Expect a total overhaul. Kill your darlings, perhaps farm some focus. Now, speaking of Eidolons, we can see some footage of one, and they are immune to your attacks in Warframe mode initially. Steve made it very clear that these are not quite the same as other enemies in-game. They have their own task in mind, and they'll be doing that when you encounter them. Only after a significant provocation will they unleash their massive energy attacks, and massive they are. We saw homing missile type attacks, an enormous ring of shots used against groups, and even an epic airstrike that rains down explosions down a huge area of the map. The Eidolons look hard to provoke, but equally hard to run from, even with Arcwing. It sounds like we'll need to begin our attack in operator mode to remove their immunity and then use our Warframe's attacks, but I can't speculate much further than that, as we didn't get to see combat against one. And speaking of Arcwing, we've been shown that Arcwing controls will be modified for atmospheric flight. While flying around the plains, you get to use your normal Warframe weapons in a manner described as being a gunner in a helicopter. By default, you'll move only laterally, and you'll have to use control or space or whatever your key bindings are to move up or down. This difference in flight controls turns off when you're boosting or sprinting, so you can navigate freely when you need to. Personally, I think Arcwing will be helpful and fun in this context. The transition from air to ground is also very, very smooth, which I'm very happy to see, and a great chance to take advantage of Warframe's lack of fall damage. There are lots of other features of Plains of Eidolon to discuss, but these three, Focus, Fighting Eidolons, and Arcwing, are the ones we can prepare for. The rest are awesome, but totally new systems like mining, fishing, questing, building custom weapons, and really a lot more. But now that we've gone over the things you can prepare for, let's talk about how you can prepare. Focus is pretty simple. I would try to get some of every focus type, and I would stop working toward any particular focus upgrade you're interested in immediately. Put focus lenses on frames that you can get lots of kills with their powers, or perhaps on melee weapons that you're comfortable slaughtering rooms upon rooms of enemies with. Some good ways to farm lots of focus fast are Saren and a concealed explosives thrown weapon on Hydron Sedna, or by doing a full stealth kills run with a melee weapon and, say, Ivara. We don't know anything about the exact abilities that will emerge from the Focus Sledgehammer's rubble, but you can always just farm a ton of the stuff and hope for the best. Now, for the gamblers out there, I would hazard a guess that focus schools like Unairu, which have always been underpowered and unpopular, will probably see some love from this overhaul. If you're looking for a place to put your chips, I would put them in the Unairu school. Another way you can prepare is by setting up loadouts that make sense in a massive open space. When you're choosing where to put those focus lenses, you might want to consider which frames and weapons you'll actually be using in the plains. You're not really going to want to stop and farm focus when Plains of Eidolon comes out. Several things rise in value in an open space, so there are different things to consider. For one thing, ammo efficiency is now much more important, especially if you want to stay out for a long time. Weapons like the Lex Prime that are ammo efficiency powerhouses will serve you well. Rebecca brought a Vacor Merlock, and I see why. Another thing she brought is the Vectis Prime. Sniper rifles are now much more valuable, for the first time, in a gigantic open space like the plains. Take out your Lanka and maybe even dust off your Volkar Wraith? No? There are ammo-efficient weapons like these that will give you a significant range advantage as well. We know that attacked Grenier can call in reinforcements and air support, so you're going to want to snipe those beacons down before that happens, or at least add damage to incoming dropships. I would venture that melee is both weaker because of the lack of close quarters combat, and stronger because of the massive open space and need for ammo efficiency. Melee weapons don't run out of shots. Maybe take a gunblade? Beyond that, speed and movement seem very useful in these open spaces. I've been running a Warframe racing event on my stream and it suddenly feels very relevant. I'll cover some of those tricks in the coming weeks. Give a low friction nausea build a try, or try out my experimental water car, Hydroid. Finally, we come to Archwing. If you only really have one Archwing, just get ahead of the game and build another. I basically only use the Itzel, and I'm gonna build something else. Going real fast sounds great, but some tankiness seems valuable as well. In the world events we saw, there were quite a lot of enemies and dropships, even against just one player. You can't over-prepare for this in that sense. Get your very best guns and Warframe. Create a loadout that's built for the long run. Check out my playlist on screen for a selection of my own builds that are suitable for long-term, long-range, open combat. And check out the whole Devstream 98 in the description if you're looking for it. And thank you all for watching. My Twitter, Twitch, Discord, and Patreon are all in the description if you're interested, and do subscribe if you had a good time. I'll see you all tomorrow with another video. Good luck.